Hey there, my beautiful people. Today is a sunny day and I am feeling good. And I was hoping I could use some of this energy to talk about overcoming self-doubt and fear on YouTube. All right. Hopefully, encourage some of you who have been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, but you're sitting on the sidelines and have different objections for whatever reason. As a matter of fact, I'll go through, a few objections, some of the common objections people have as to, give themselves reasons why they don't start the YouTube channel that they do want to start, right? I'll talk about some of those, and then I'll probably try to give you like some tips or some things that you could possibly do in an effort to overcome those fears and self-doubt, okay? Now, if you're joining me for the first time, please do me a favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you're notified every single time I release a new video. My name is Christian. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I am Christian M, a place where I decided to document my attempted journey to financial independence. Now, financial independence in our case just simply refers to generating enough income, passive income, to cover our living expenses. So if that kind of stuff's of interest to you, please do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. All right. So why did I start a YouTube channel to begin with? All right. Well, like I mentioned, I'm here pursuing financial independence, and one of the things and additional sources of income that I saw as a potential potential brick, to build my my base for financial independence was generating income on YouTube, okay, through the YouTube Partner Program, which requires 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time within the previous 365 days. Now, that seems to be pretty daunting for a lot of people for good reason. It's not necessarily an easy feat, but I'm going for it, right? And I'm sure there are a lot of you watching who are considering the same thing, but have all kinds of reasons as to why you don't want to start, or, well, you do want to start, but you have certain things that are preventing you from starting. So some of the most common objections people have to, starting a YouTube channel is they think this is like a very, I had this feeling myself. They think that they've got to be perfect, right? Like and this is, our judgment's usually clouded by a lot of these other maybe bigger creators, bigger YouTubers that are, have these well edited, fancy, polished videos with all kinds of effects and all types of stuff, right? For the longest time, I thought that if I didn't have all that, then there's no point and I'm not going to get any attention and all that type of stuff. And that is very, very far from the truth, okay? I don't know if you've noticed it, but I have. In recent times, I've started seeing more smaller channels pop up on my feed, right? And it's just people doing really simple videos just like this, like, just popping out the phone, getting your camera on and recording. And I've seen channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers with millions of views, right? And they're not doing anything particularly fancy. So that was one thing that I saw. I was like, well, I mean, I think I could do that, right? And I'm telling you that you could too, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? As a matter of fact, just accept it. It's actually, a lot of your big videos in the beginning are gonna suck, just like I've just accepted the fact that most of my videos right now suck, right? And with time I'll get better, right? And it will be the same. It would be the same for you, okay? Now, another common objection people have, which I definitely had, is thinking that they've got to be an expert, okay, in the subject matter, right? And the matter of, you really don't have to be an expert, right, in whatever it is that you're going to be talking about. The one thing that you would be an expert on is yourself. Nobody knows you better than yourself. And there's just, you've seen some of these channels where people, they might not necessarily even be covering any particular, sharing any particular expertise in any field, they're just vlogging their daily lives and stuff like that, you know, and that's working for them too. So you are you, and there aren't any two yous on this planet, right? So that in itself, that's your competitive advantage right there. Okay, so don't think you have to be an expert. And you know, this is where like that whole imposter syndrome came in. That's something that I definitely had to battle, right? Thinking like, who's gonna listen to me, why would they listen to me, type stuff. And you know, one of the ways, in fact, I'll tell you about that later on in the video, like how like one of the best things, or one of the really good tactics or different you know, techniques, I don't know if you can call it tactic or technique, but it's a way that you can go about talking about any subject matter, right, without necessarily being an expert in it. Okay, so I'll tell you that later in the video. All right, now one of the other, you know, a third you know, objection that a lot of people have to starting their channel is they think they've got to have a massive following in order to gain any kind of traction. And you know, I mean, just consider this, right? Every person that you see on YouTube that you think you need to be like in order to have any chance on YouTube, that has like a massive following, you know, tons of followers, subscribers, and all. Guess what? They started at zero, just like you would be starting, right? Just like I'm starting at, you know. And you just build slowly. They started from zero, and they just gradually work their way up. You know, when you start, sure, okay, you're not gonna have tons of views, you're not gonna have tons of you know, tons of subscribers and all that, but you can work your way up to that. And the only way to do that is to get started. Okay, get started, and before you know it, as long as you stay consistent and persistent, before you know it, you'll start getting subscribers. At the time of this recording, I'm now sitting on, what is it, 12 or 13 subscribers. And there was a point that at one point I almost thought, like, is this ever gonna go anywhere? Because for the longest time it was just crickets, and I was posting quite a bit, and I was like, well, you know what, if I stop now, if I give up now, I'm definitely guaranteed to not go anywhere. So just keep going. So just go ahead and start. And as long as you're consistent, you do your best, you know, try to put out, you know, what you can, as you know, at your own level, what is good information or whatever you research, and things will start happening. Okay, I'm seeing things starting to happen. I know in many people's eyes this might be nothing, but to me it's something, right? At least I'm better off. I've got 13 more subscribers than I did when I started, which was zero. Okay, so just go ahead and get started. As a matter of fact, please do subscribe. I mean, use this as an inspiration, or maybe not necessary inspiration, but you can use my channel and how I'm doing as a way to gauge what things could possibly look like if you started, right? Like, it's not like you're trying to mimic some huge channel where you would feel like, well, there's no way for you to succeed, because I mean, there's no way. Like, you look at a big channel and you see that, well, of course it's easy for them because they've got that many subscribers and all that. Well, guess what? I don't, right? So use me as a gauge to see how things could possibly work for you, right? But don't only use me for that. Actually do this stuff yourself and start working your way, right? Okay. And then one of the biggest, I think this is another objection that a lot of people have, and this feeling of, well, not a feeling, like being worried about if they fail, right? Like, people just wonder, like, okay, what if they fail, and they would have wasted all their time trying to do that. So, well, guess what? I'll put this question to you: what if you succeed, right? What if you succeed? Like, why only look at the side? Why look at the negative side of things? Like, why only think of, like, what if you fail? So what? What, you're worried about maybe some people might laugh at you, or, you know, people might and that's, you know, that might happen, you know, like, there's going to be people in your life that don't necessarily support what you're doing, or they think you're wasting your time, but you're not doing this for them. Okay, you're doing this for yourself, right? So don't be wondering like, yes, where a lot of people are scared of failure, but don't look at it as failure. Look at it like every time you put out a video and all that, that doesn't, you know, that quote unquote fails, right? That doesn't do what you think or expect it to do. Like study the analytics, study everything that's happening. Pay attention to the things that you do that do work, right? And just make gradual incremental changes and improvements that way, okay? So that's that. Now, let's just go ahead and talk about some of the things that I would suggest, you know, like some, I guess you can look at them as tips that I think you should try to go with, right? If you're worried about, well, these are some things that you can do to overcome, right? To overcome that self-doubt and fear, right? And having said everything I've said, this is just the first thing I'll tell you is like, don't wait for things to be what in your mind would be perfect, right? Don't wait until, let's just say, you think that you've got to have like the right equipment, or you got to have the best or the fanciest camera and all that. Just you have a phone, chances are you're watching this on the phone. Just go ahead and get started, right? Get started, and it's let's just face it, right? It's not gonna be that great in the beginning, right? That's just the way it is. Like anything else in life, right? You're not gonna be good at anytime you're starting something new. You're not gonna be good. So just accept that, right? But the most important part is to start. Okay, just go ahead and start. Then the second, I guess, quote unquote, tip I could give you, or thing that you can use to try to overcome like the whole self-doubt and fear on YouTube, is to just embrace. It's kind of like the same. Just basically embrace the fact that things are not going to be good, right? Get comfortable, right? I guess I can put it this way. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, all right? That's something that I've had to learn. You know, I've come a long way. Like if someone would have told you like a little while back that I'll be out here making YouTube videos and all that, I would have said you're crazy, okay? I would have said you're crazy. And I'm by no means or any stretch of the imagination good at this, right? I'm figuring it out as I go. I'm just learning, right? And I'm having fun with it. That's the funny thing. It's actually like I've gone from being scared and worried to fearful and what people may say or think, or getting judged and all that. And if I'm being completely honest, I've gotten to a point where this has started to become pretty fun, okay? So just get comfortable with being uncomfortable, all right? And then let's see, the other main thing, the other tip that I can give you right now is to ignore the vanity metrics, okay? At the beginning, okay? At the beginning, try as hard as it may be, right? Try to ignore the vanity metrics. And what am I talking about with vanity metrics? I'm talking about like your subscriber count, the number of views that you're getting, right? All those things. Because if you're looking at that, if you're so focused on that and from the start, it will be the quickest way to discourage you and get you to stop, right? I fell for that, right? I fell in that trap. Like when I started this particular channel, right, I fell in that trap at the beginning. I was posting a lot, especially since I was posting every day, right? I was there thinking, okay, I'm posting a lot, I should be gaining more traction than this and all that type of stuff, because I was there sitting and obsessing over, like, oh, how many subscribers do I have today, or how many views do I have today, all that type of stuff. Ignore all that stuff. Focus on just doing the work, showing up every day, being persistent. There are going to be people out there that you'll resonate with, and people that will just like you for you. And let's face it, there's just going to be people that can't stand you, right? Can't say, but that's just life. That's just the world, okay? So you have people that you work, that you meet in your everyday lives, that that you hit it off with, and things go well. And then you have others that you just don't jive well together, right? You're always butting heads. It's going to be the same thing on here, right? So just go ahead, get started, ignore the vanity metrics, and just, you know, just get going. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. The one thing I will tell you, right? The one thing that I will tell you, if this is something that you've been wanting to do and you're sitting on the sidelines, right? There's nothing worse than the feeling of regret, okay? You don't want to get up one day and be, like later on in life and feel like, and just wonder what if, right? What if you had done this thing that you've been wanting to do and for whatever reason didn't do it, right? Go ahead and just do it. Just go ahead and just get started. No matter how bad you think you may be, right? There are going to be people out there that will see some kind of something in you that that they'll appreciate, right? So what that thing is, I couldn't tell you, right? I don't know what it is, but you'll never find out unless you actually get started. So pardon the interruption. I am back inside at home right now, and I just realized that I forgot to give you that tip that I said I would do earlier on in the video with regards to the objection of not wanting to do videos because you feel like you're not an expert, right? I did promise earlier that towards the end of the video that I would give you a method to overcome that, right? And I forgot, so I'm doing that now. So with regards to dealing with not feeling like you're an expert, the approach I would take, which is kind of what I'm doing, is really coming from the standpoint of being a student, right? Slash journalist, right? You're not necessarily an expert, right? But you are somebody who is who's interested in the topic, right? Who's passionate about the topic. So even though you're not an expert, you can come across as someone who's learning about that topic, right? Or investigating how to go about doing things, how to go about operating in that field, right? So yeah, you're not an expert, but you're interested, right? So you can share your experience and what you're learning and all the things that you're picking up, right? And you can share them with your viewers on your channel, right? And yeah, you're not necessarily giving the information as an expert, but you're giving it as a student or a journalist that is learning all about your niche and the stuff that you're interested in talking about, right? So that's how I would go about doing that. It's kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm no financial expert, far from it. I'm no digital marketing expert or affiliate marketing expert per se, but I've got some substantial experience, but I'm still constantly learning. I'm definitely no YouTube expert, right? But I'm learning, right? And as I learn more stuff about it, and little milestones, little achievements, I share it, right? I'm learning about it. I'm sharing what I learn about it. And I'm approaching it as a student, as a journalist. So hopefully that is a tip or a method that you can take with you and take advantage of. See, I told you I suck at this stuff, right? I didn't put the information that I meant to put in earlier, and I had to come back and do it later. So I'm throwing it in there now. Hopefully you appreciate it. All right, thanks. I'll leave you with that. If you are interested in say maybe getting a little help with building your YouTube channel and getting some things that might help your growth, there is a YouTube course. This is a course that I would recommend, and it's from it's funny enough, it's created by a younger kid that obviously has been doing. Well, he was a kid when he started. I guess a guy that started posting YouTube videos when he was like 16, and he's older now, right? But I came across this channel recently. It's a guy called Matt Parr. You might have not have heard of him, but he's got a course showing with a community and stuff. So that would definitely be a great place to be in. Surround yourself with people who are doing the same thing you are, where you can go in, ask questions, and get help and all that. I'll have that linked in the description below. That's the first link in the description below. And if you want to get some help that way, go ahead and do that. But if not, you can just always search YouTube for free and find. Of course, it'll take you forever. It'll take you more time, but it's if you're one of those that wants to save yourself some time and get all the information from someone that's like an expert, I would say at this point, right? That has had proven success. I would definitely check that out. Okay, thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will catch you in my next one.